Hey guys, how are you feeling? I'm doing good. It's been a great week actually. It's been very productive, very busy in a good way. It's been a pretty amazing week. I've had so many successes this week, especially in coaching. Yesterday I did a breakthrough session, started the day at 8:30 with a client, and then great session. And then breakthrough session at 10, we finished late, and then I kind of wrapped up the day with another session, just a mini one, just a little check in. And today finished that up. It was so good. So many success stories. I had one client that I coached. We started coaching last year, and we had finished our time together, if you will. And he shared a amazing message of success. So one of the goals we had set last year, he got to fulfill it just this week, and it matched his timeline. It was perfect. Wow, it was awesome. It was really cool. How are you guys? I hope you guys had just as much fun. And today we're going to talk about something very much in vision therapy and yet a little bit different in vision therapy. I get a lot of questions about this from patients, parents, family. We do some activities that the patient's crawling sometimes, or on the ground, and they're rolling or flopping, for lack of better terms. It looks different. A lot of body work. And why are they doing it? Realistically, we're trying to work on gross motor and other activities working on primitive reflexes. And it's so cool because primitive reflexes, when I first even brought it in, it was so hard to explain how is this vision therapy? In vision therapy, we think about moving the eyes, right? Your eyes move, we direct attention, we focus, clear, whatever. This one, you're moving the body. It looks different. It is hard to pinpoint exactly where vision in this is, and yet it is so profoundly important for building. Primitive reflexes, for very simplistically, is reflexes that you're born with. Some of them start when the baby is inside the womb. It's these reflexes that are helping the child, if you will, the baby, become safe. Start learning at an early level, basically create safety in the first year. In fact, most, if not all, primitive reflexes are integrated by 1 year old. Now, why is that important? Integration of these reflexes is so important because if you don't integrate at a high level, it can interfere. It can interfere with learning forward. What I mean by that is it doesn't stop you from learning, but presupposing it's appropriate to have these reflexes at birth so that the baby is learning how to navigate with the reflexes, their world, their existence. And when they integrate it, they can then learn the next step of development. Is that fair? I think I'm going to use that for now. If it doesn't get integrated, okay, it's not the end of the world. However, it stays so loud in the system, it doesn't stop the child from learning, but they start to learn differently now. Instead of having the appropriate next foundational step, building blocks up, they have to learn a different way, and it can still be loud in the system. Why is that important? Have you guys ever played Jenga? We love it. When the girls were younger, we would play it a lot more. The setup wasn't really fun. It's just stacking blocks up, right? So, for just as a reminder for those who may not have played Jenga, wooden blocks up, and you take from what is it? You take a block from the middle and you put on top, and so on. The more you take a block from the middle and you put on top, eventually, when the building or the blocks topple over, the game's over. Whoever toppled it, they're the quote unquote loser. When you think about it, the more you take the blocks, it makes the base unsteady, the foundation of the tower unsteady. And the more you're building on top with an unsteady foundation, it gets top heavy and eventually it will topple. Fun game, and exciting or alarming when it tops over, I guess. You're always waiting that anticipation. Why is this pertinent for this? Well, if the foundation isn't strong, that thing is going to topple. And if we keep on building on top, knowledge, awareness, growth, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 12, university, and the foundation isn't strong, can we have some agreement that it becomes harder? Not that hardness is bad, but it does add a level of difficulty to a point where it does become more challenging. Maybe to a point where you don't even want to try anymore. Or maybe you give up. Or maybe you're not getting the successes that you're used to. Foundation. Without that proper foundation, trying to keep on adding and growing and reaching higher and higher, it's not impossible. It just gets challenging. And oftentimes, when we get patients in the office, if they haven't integrated their primitive reflexes, foundational, these are what primitive reflexes are, these are foundations of learning, it interferes and life gets a little hard. Skills don't fully develop to the level that they can be, and school becomes hard. Social anxiety or interactions with others become difficult. When you're in a car accident, oftentimes you can have, unfortunately, a concussion, a brain injury. It is very common after a head injury or brain injury where you lose some of those, or the primitive reflexes that you had integrated, they come back loud. Okay, that's a better definition. They just come loud again. So they're back in our awareness, our existence, so that they're interfering again. I'll often have adult patients, unfortunately, who have suffered a concussion say to me, it's as if I behave like a child again. There's a lot of responses I have that just don't seem appropriate, and I don't know how to do it. And it creates like an anxiety. Some of these primitive reflexes set you up for crawling, and crawling leads to body awareness and so on. Some of these reflexes set you up for penmanship, hand holding a pencil, holding tools. Some of these reflexes one particular is called a moral reflex, like a startle reflex. I kind of think of it as almost like a trust reflex. And studies have shown when you have a retained or non-properly integrated, appropriate integrated moral reflex, it can create an increased surge of stress hormone in life and daily activities. In fact, that can lead to a general anxiety. It can lead to interference with learning, sensitivity to light and noise, sounds, crowds. It can make you sensitive to allergies, for example. Down the path, all connected in some manner. Is it a big deal? Again, it is if it starts to interfere. If you're not functioning at your best, your peak performance, it interferes. And if you feel like you deserve or you want to get to that next level, and it may be vision involved, it might look like primitive reflexes, and that led to poor vision or poor control of the eyes. Regardless, if it does affect and you haven't really checked, having an eye exam is so important. Health wise, we talked about this, and having one that looks at the skills necessary to navigate, that might be another place to look at. If you haven't had that, or you're more curious about primitive reflexes, and maybe your child or yourself has this, or someone you know might benefit from this investigation, please call our office. When it came to our office, it was a game changer. It was so cool to see how it all connected. We've had successes without delving into that or needing that previous to learning about primitive reflexes, and ever since we brought it in, I would want to keep it in. It has been so foundational for growth, literally and figuratively. So by building that foundation, that structure, our patients have a more easier path forward to learn the next step. Higher level now, vision therapy and so on. It is so cool. If you know of yourself or anybody who might benefit from this conversation or this knowledge, share the video and give us a call. I'd love to hear from you guys and how you guys are all doing. Otherwise, this is a different